Hello, a Rosie math teacher coming at you from my 7th period, grade 7 math class. We are learning lesson 7-2, area of trapezoids. First, before we talk more about trapezoids, I do want to remind you that in order to be a trapezoid, you must have precisely one pair of parallel lines. Class, trace the two lines that are running parallel to each other. Remembering that parallel lines are either going up and down, always staying the same distance from each other, or they could be going this way, staying the same distance, this way, staying the same distance, this way, staying the same distance. They never ever will intersect. Trace the lines that you believe are parallel on shape item number 1. I'm going to trace a pair of lines in red, and then I'm going to trace a pair of lines in green. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to tell me which color is the color that you should have traced on your page. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Green.
If you said red, wave at me. You are correct. Let me show you why. If I continue my green lines, the one side is going down, down, down. The other side is going diagonally. What do you notice eventually happens? They eventually intersect, which means they are therefore not what kind of lines? Not parallel. Parallel lines would never intersect, no matter how far you draw them. Does that make sense to you so far? All right. Today's lesson is we are going to decompose each trapezoid to find its area. Class, please write the following formula for area that is included on your paper reference sheet when you take the FAST exam PM3. So we're going to use the exact same formula. A equals, let me write this in black ink. A equals, please copy this now on number 1. A equals 1/2 times height, and then in parentheses. Now guys, I need to write on top of this for space on the TV screen. You should not be writing on top of your second piece. So put it wherever you can fit it. Base 1 plus base 2. Do you see how I have little numbers that are down lower? That's called a subscript. So not like an exponent. All right, 1/2. First of all, do we know the area of this trapezoid yet, class? No, we don't know it yet. That's what we're trying to find. So draw yourself a box to remember I'm going to put my number there when I do find the area. What is the next thing I will copy? 1/2. Please copy 1/2. Now, the height on this one might be a little bit tricky because earlier they gave you a dotted line going up from the base, didn't they? But this time there's a different symbol they are using. It's a symbol that reminds you that this green line is joining my red line with a 90-degree angle. If it is joining it at a 90-degree angle, it means that these are perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines means they form 90-degree angles where they intersect. So that perpendicular line is your height. Name the height, class. I'm only hearing one person, and I should hear more than that. Guys, this green line is your height. Name the measurement, please. 10. That's better. Whew, it is last period, so they are kind of sleepy on me. All right, so times 10, and then beginning parentheses. Now, guys, in a trapezoid, you always have a base 1, a base 2. I don't care which one is which. It does not matter. Which one do you want us to write first? Say it. I'll do the one that's most popular. I heard 12. So 12. Now what is the other one after the plus sign? Plus 9. So right now on your online calculator, type all of these numbers in. And then the answer that you get will get written in this box. And in a moment, you will type that into the answer box on your McGraw-Hill app. I'll give you all just a moment to make sure you are getting that entered in your calculator. And then I will be stopping you again in just a moment because while you're doing that, guys, you should have already written all of these things. I'm erasing them now because it was your job while I was teaching it to be writing all of those numbers down. I am going to go ahead and start setting us up for success on number 2 by copying down the formula. Area of a trapezoid is always 1/2 times the height and then in parentheses base 1 plus base 2. Now, I'll be honest, let me explain while you guys are finishing typing that in your calculators. The area of a trapezoid, it's really kind of similar to area of a parallelogram, which is base times height. It's kind of like they took what used to be a parallelogram. Do you see how this piece, if we cut it off and rotated and flipped it and attached it over here, do you see how it would have made a parallelogram? Or really this piece, if you cut it off and flipped it upside down. It would make a parallelogram. So what you're doing, when you use the 1/2 and you use the base 1 plus base 2, you're actually finding out what the base would have been if they had not made one base longer and one base shorter. In other words, if you take this 2 and flip it down here, 2 plus 7 would have been what? 9. And down here, 7 plus 2 would also have been what? 9. Now watch this. What is the total of 7 plus 2 plus 2? 11. Plus 7? 18. What is 18 times 1/2? What is 1/2 of 18? 9. So do you see how if this were a regular parallelogram, we would just be doing base times height. We would have done 9 times the height of 7, wouldn't we? But instead, because it is a trapezoid, we need to do 1/2 times the two bases added together to get it back to what it would have been if they had kept it as a parallelogram. So if that helps you, great. If not, just stick with the formula and you'll be fine. But you also need to multiply by the height. So for item number 2, A will equal, and do we know the area yet? No, so draw a box where the A is. If you have not yet written this, please write this now. If you have not yet written this, please write this now. And what goes underneath 1/2? 1/2. What goes in place of the height? The 7. Good job, guys. Do you see where that dotted line runs perpendicular? So please write this on your paper right now. I'm going to erase this in a moment. And then in place of base 1, which do you want? In fact, guys, give me the smaller one first. What is that lower base? 7. Draw your plus sign. What is the total distance of the upper base? Add those numbers up again. 2 plus 7 is 9 plus 2 is 11. Don't you agree we want the distance across the whole thing? So don't let them fool you that these are listed separately. They're expecting you to know to do what with those numbers? Add them together. So what amount is that base? 11. So in a moment on your calculators, you will be entering 1/2 times 7 plus 11. It will give you this area. Okay? All right, I have just enough time that I want to show you. Guys, go ahead and look down here. I'll let you go back to your online work in a moment. But I want to remind you that you also should know how to find a missing dimension. Even though I didn't put it in your homework tonight, I want you to know how to find a missing dimension. And guys, they wrote your formula for you on number 7. So yay them. On this one, did they give you the area? Yes or no? Area equals 40 inches squared. So under the A, write the 40. Everybody do this on your paper right now. Write the 40 because they did give you the area. Then what do we put in place of 1/2? We put 1/2. Did they give you the height? Yes or no? No, that's the piece we do not know. So just keep that as an H for now. Did they give you a base 1 and a base 2? On the bottom, it's what? On the top, it's what? Excellent. So let's solve what we do know while trying to find out what we don't know. Guys, what is 12 plus 8? Say it if you know. It is 20. And what is 1/2 when multiplied by 20? What is 1/2 of 20, guys? You know this. Yes, thank you. So that would equal 10. Now I keep that H. Do you see what I did there? I took what I did know, 1/2 times 20. That equaled 10. And then I was ready to grab my H and bring it back. And it is equal to, what was the area again? 40. Now that you see we have 40 equals 10h, do you know how to solve it from this point? H is being what by 10? Say it. Good. So what will I do to both sides? Divide by what? Say it again. 10. So what would you end up realizing that height must be? Anybody know? Say it.
4.
Yes! What an advanced class. Awesome. So that would end up being 4. You guys are doing great. You may go ahead and work online.